But now we want to get to the number one trending story on our website right now. Happy to be joined by the author of that story, Jonathan Raymond from our digital team, a friend of the show, I think we can call you now.
Sure.
Appreciate you coming on.
The occasional contributor.
This was a big headline. I guess it first made news more than a decade ago.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of resurfaced again.
This is the case of Kendrick Johnson. And if you've lived in Georgia for a while, it would probably be one that you remember. It began in Valdosta in 2013. A 17-year-old was found dead inside of a rolled-up gym mat at Lowndes County High. And the basics of it are that the school, or the official investigation and the school district and everything that came out, ruled it accidental. They said he had somehow kind of fallen into or gotten stuck inside the gym mat by reaching for a pair of shoes. And his family has for a long time tried to get the investigative materials or get to what they think is the actual truth of it. They believe that he was killed by classmates, and that essentially all the stuff that went on down there in Valdosta and Lowndes County was a kind of a cover-up.
They're alleging hazing?
I don't know the particulars of what they think or even who they think
Right.
Would have committed this if it were a criminal act.
The
and not an
family's just
accident.
saying this was no accident.
Officially, though, it is an accident. And the case was reopened in 2021 by the local sheriff. They reviewed everything and at that time affirmed their determination that it was accidental. What we have now, the update is that they had a lawsuit against the county, the school district, the GBI. They have been trying to sue both for monetary damages and to obtain, and I'll get into this in a second, but to obtain surveillance footage from the school. So where this has become over the years so emotionally charged and so difficult to process, in particular for the family and the community down there, is there are inconsistencies, at least in the words of the federal judge who adjudicated this lawsuit. I think the exact language she used was concerns about inconsistencies. One of those is the surveillance footage. Back in 2013 when this all happened, is CNN obtained surveillance footage from the school. They hired an independent investigator who determined that the footage appeared to have absences, have portions missing and had been altered or tampered with. So one part of the lawsuit was they were trying to obtain the surveillance footage. As for the monetary damages, and this is where I'll kind of just lay out the legal stuff, it's fairly straightforward. Unfortunately for the family, they ran into the kinds of hurdles that lawsuits typically fail at. You cannot sue the GBI. They have sovereign immunity
Sure.
as an arm of the state of Georgia. They could not sue the school district for the surveillance footage any longer because the statute of limitations had ran out. They could not sue the county under somewhat similar terms.
Sovereign immunity.
I think both sovereign immunity and statute of
Yeah.
limitations. And there were also two defendants in the lawsuit that were news media companies that gets down a rabbit hole that would be difficult for us to go through. But it remains such a poignant case because in addition to the whole surveillance, the sheriff's report from a couple years ago when they determined it was accidental still noted that the width of the gym mat was 14 inches and they had done, they had measured his shoulder width as 19 inches. I don't know many people who can, contract their shoulders by 5 inches even on purpose, let alone just by reaching into a gym mat. So there's a lot of stuff like that. Some of the other ones were when they had the official autopsy performed and the body was returned to them, it was missing organs, including his brain. There's always been questions about that. So there are, like I said, the federal judge noted inconsistencies in this case. And, at this point, it would be hard to see how they get it resolved. They did announce that they were going to file an additional complaint against the judge who dismissed the lawsuit and the Northern District of Georgia Federal Court. I don't believe you can actually do that, under sovereign immunity issues.
Sure.
So, you know, they have a real uphill battle at this point trying to get the answers that have eluded them for 12, 13 years.
Yeah, and your heart breaks for the family still seeking answers, still seeking
Yeah,
justice all these years later. Check out the article on 11alive.com right now. Good research by Jonathan digging into that, and we appreciate your breakdown this morning. All right, Jonathan, thanks.